Hey friends, today is Thursday, January 19th, 2023, and welcome to my weekly vlog. For those of you that don't know, every Thursday, at least through the middle of March 2023, I'll be uploading a weekly vlog to keep you updated on the quilty projects that are happening in my sewing room. And this week is the kickoff for the Jolly Bar 4 quilt along, and I am super excited about that. I'm going to share all of my quilty project updates in just a minute, but let me bring you up to speed on some other fun things that have happened over the past week. As most of you may know, I had a temporary assignment at work that took me into DC every single day for the past few months. And last week was the first week that I got to return to my normal work location, which meant I even had the ability to work from home one day last week. That was awesome. There's something about being able to work from home and not deal with that commute. I'm still very productive, but I can have Netflix playing in the background, and I can't do that at work. And being able to transition immediately from work to home life is super nice. There are a couple of things that I got to do on my telework day that I don't normally get to do. The first one is I shared my office space with a dragon. No, seriously, we have a bearded dragon. Her name is Soul. And usually while I am at work, my husband releases the dragon into my studio, and after a couple hours of her either sunbasking in the windows or stretching her legs, he comes in to retrieve her, takes a picture of wherever she's at, and sends it to me as a text that says, "Find the dragon." Some days it's really obvious because she's just on the back of the chair, but other days she's hiding a little bit, and it can be a little bit harder to find her. Well, last week, because I worked from home, I actually got to work with the dragon in the office, and that was kind of fun. And that happened to be a day where she just stayed perched on the back of the chair, bathing in the gloriousness of those windows. The other thing that I got to do was pick out a series on Netflix to listen to while I whittled away at all the projects that I'm juggling at work, and that was really fun. The series I chose is Wednesday, and this is kind of like a modern series focused on Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family. It's a little bit darker than the original sitcoms, but still a lot of fun. I found it very entertaining. I really liked it, and I would recommend it if any of you liked the old Addams Family movies or the Addams Family sitcom from back in the day. If you didn't catch that, you can find it on Netflix. Okay, sewing projects. What did I work on this week? Well, if you didn't catch my live stream on Friday night, I am obsessed with making these money envelopes. They're like little wallets that are made with 2 pieces of fabric, some SF-101, and a closure of your choice. I happen to use plastic cam snaps. They go together really, really easily, and I even wrote out a pattern and a PDF template for you that you can get on my website for just 99 cents if you're interested in making these. But hey, don't worry, you don't need the pattern to put them together. If you go back and watch my live stream from Friday, January 13th, 2023, I give you all of the cutting instructions and measurements. So if you just want to pause the video and jot those things down or make it alongside of me, I actually made a few on the live stream, you should be able to make it very easily. But if you prefer written instructions and a drawn out template, you can get that on my website for just under $1. And if you're in the VIP program, you get it for free. So if you're VIP, don't pay for that. Just log into the pattern library and download it. Okay, project updates. There are a few things that I worked on over the long holiday weekend. Of course, I made a ton of those money envelopes because one is never enough. But I also worked on 3 other projects. The first one that I did was the Patchwork Placemats. Do you remember last week I showed you the Patchwork Placemats and I had all of the squares pieced, and I asked you, would you quilt them the way they are or would you add borders? And the overwhelming majority of you said add borders. In fact, a few of you even said, make sure that when you add the borders to make the borders on the side a little bit wider than the borders that you would put on the top and bottom, which will help give it that rectangular traditional placemat shape. So I listened. I am proud to say that all of my placemats are now pieced together with borders and ready to be quilted, but I have another dilemma and I would love your input. I don't know how to quilt them. I was thinking I could do some matchstick quilting or maybe some stitch in the ditch quilting or echoing the seams. All of those sound great. I've even thought about doing a very dense all over meander to keep it really nice and flat and quilty for the table, but I'm kind of stumped. I don't know which one of those to choose, or maybe if I should consider something else. So I'd love to hear from you. If you had these and you had the ability to load all of them onto the long arm and quilt them at once, what would you do? What are some of the techniques or designs that maybe I should consider? The next project I worked on is my braid quilt, and this is just a quilt top that I am so in love with. I am proud to let you know that the quilt actually already has a forever home. I know exactly who I'm gifting this quilt to, and I could not be more thrilled to present it to her when it's done. So I am super motivated to get it pieced, quilted, bound, and even get that label on it. The quilt is going to go to a friend of mine who recently got engaged, and she is in love with all types of travel and loves to spend time down in the tropics and on the beach. And so this quilt really screams like that tropical water to me. So I think it's very fitting for her. It's kind of a thank you for being my friend, but also, hey, congratulations on your engagement gift. I made a good bit of progress on the quilt. I have 5 braids built out. 2 of them are solid with no white diamonds in the middle, and then 3 of them have those white diamonds going down the center. I actually think I like the version of the braids that have the white diamond going down the center. I think they look a little bit better. When I talked to you last week, I had mentioned that I thought what I was going to do is take the solid braids and put it out one on the left, one on the right, and put the 3 with the white diamonds literally right in the middle. But after reading all of your comments, a few of you suggested doing something a little different. They suggested alternating so that you had diamond, no diamond, diamond, no diamond, diamond. So 5 braids, diamond in the middle on the sides, and the 2 solids in the middle. And then, of course, each of those braids are going to be separated by some background fabric to just further the distance from the colors. I laid those out and I really like the way they look. So that's the layout I'm going to go with. But what I'm trying to do now is put the setting triangles onto the bottom of the braids. And of course I need to do that with the background fabric. I added the setting triangles to the bottom point of one of the braids, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. My original intention for the quilt was to have a white background so that those teals and blues just absolutely pop. But when I added the setting triangles to the bottom of the braid, I feel like I lost the diamond at the bottommost position of the braid. Now that might be okay, but what I'm worried about is if I add white to the entire quilt, am I going to lose what makes those white diamonds shine? And if so, is there another color I should consider for this overall beachy themed quilt? Let me know in the comments down below if you think white is good enough or if I should consider another color. And if I should, what would you recommend? I'll be checking all of your comments to see what you say and continuing progress on that quilt, and I'll keep you updated next week. The last project I worked on this week is, of course, the Jolly Bar 4 quilt along, and I am super excited to officially kick that off this week. This week we made 2 blocks. Every single week we're going to make 2 blocks. We made the Whoopsie Daisy and the Shirley Temple block, and they are both different sizes. So if your Whoopsie Daisy block is bigger than your Shirley Temple block, don't freak out. It's supposed to be that way. Overall, these blocks are really easy to put together. The instructions are very easy to understand, and they were a super fast sew. I have a couple of tips for you when it comes to the Jolly Bar 4 quilt along. The first one is when you are ready to put your quilts together, you're going to need the PDF that you can download for free off of the Fat Quarter Shop website, but also the Jolly Bar 4 book. The book is going to give you your cutting sizes, while the PDF that you download is going to tell you which fabrics you need for that block and how many of that fabric. For example, fabric number A for the Shirley Temple block, we need 2 A fabrics. And when you want to know what size those fabrics are going to be cut to, you flip to your book and find the cutting instructions and cut out 2 fabric A's. I hope that made sense. The other tip that I have for you is color placement. I don't want to overthink my fabric placement and end up causing myself to spiral down the road. I know the team over at Fat Quarter Shop has put a lot of hard work and thought into which block is going to go where in the quilt and what color it's going to be. So I'm going to follow their lead. Where possible, I'm going to try to select fabrics from my own layer cakes that resemble the colors they chose. So for this week, the Shirley Temple block and the pattern looks like they actually used a navy or a dark blue. I didn't have that in my line, but I did have a really pretty charcoal. So I went for that. I have a dark color where they have a dark color. For the Whoopsie Daisy block, they chose a coral or a peachy color, and I did the same thing. I went into my Jolly Bars and I got some coral or peach that I used to cut down and make that block. If this is a sew along that you haven't yet started, you've been thinking about, all of the information for how you can jump onto this will be in the description box below. So make sure to check that out, follow that link, and get caught up. You will need 2 Jolly Bars plus a good bit of background fabric and some accent fabric to put this together. But here's my tip for you. If there is a fabric line that you just absolutely want to use for this quilt along, get a layer cake. Fat Quarter Shop has a ton there for you. Jolly Bars are cuts that are custom for Fat Quarter Shop. You can't buy them anywhere else. When you buy a Jolly Bar, it is basically 1/2 of a layer cake. It's like they took a layer cake and chopped it right down the middle, threw in an extra pattern, and gave it to you for a reduced cost. So you get all of the fabrics that you get in a layer cake or a charm pack, but each cut of fabric in the Jolly Bar is 5 inches by 10 inches instead of 10 by 10. Because you need 2 Jolly Bars of the same fabric line, you can actually do this project with a layer cake. And like I said, Fat Quarter Shop has a ton of them. I'll link to their website in the description box down below if you want to check out all of their layer cakes and or Jolly Bars. I am not going to do a tutorial for each one of these blocks as we go along. Instead, I'm just sharing with you what my blocks look like and giving you any tips or tricks that I might have for that week's block. But that doesn't mean I don't want to sew with you. I would love to see you putting these blocks together. Let me know in the comments down below if this is a quilt along that you're doing. And even better, don't forget to take a picture of what your blocks look like and share it on social media with the hashtag JollyBar4QAL. And if you're in my Facebook group, go ahead and drop a picture of it over there too. Thank you so much for checking out my weekly vlog. Don't forget to come back next week to see what my week 2 blocks look like and see if I got any progress done on those placemats and that braid quilt. I'll see you guys all then. Bye!